Hey everybody, welcome to the Faith and Fandom Artists Alley Aftermath for HeroesCon 2024. I'm joined by my daughter Bella, begrudgingly, but she's still here. She's part of this rodeo too. And we're going to be talking about HeroesCon. Now, we're recording this on Saturday night. There's still a whole day left of HeroesCon, but we didn't want to wait until, we're rushed because right after this we are heading to Northern Alabama because I'm speaking at a Bible camp there, and want to just kind of be proactive and not try and squeeze this in when we're exhausted and tired and super sweaty and dehydrated and all the other things. So, how you doing, Bella?
I'm tired.
But you're going to watch a whole movie after this.
That's different.
We pulled out Thursday morning to head to HeroesCon, and pretty quickly the journey kicked off in an entertaining fashion as we were heading down 74, probably like an hour from Lumberton, and a car pulled up beside of us, and then someone rolled down the window, leaned out the passenger side, pretty far, like out the passenger side.
Down to his belly button about.
Yeah. And Bella was worried the dude was like gonna literally pop out of the car. But the guy leaned out his window, and it was someone we know from the con world, and he was waving at us. He saw us passing by, and he literally leaned his body halfway out the car to just say hey. And it's just one of those things you don't always see, and I think was pretty alarming for you just because you thought somebody was about to like stop, drop, and roll in the middle of the highway. But it was fun. So, and that's just one of those things like, hey, I'm a cool dad. People jump out the cars for me. Huzzah. But so it started the journey off pretty good. We got to Charlotte and did our usual stuff of setting up. Also, I overestimated or underestimated how much new things we had that didn't have homes on my big burly cart. So between carrying like 75 comic books, 20 canvases, a big thing of markers, a button maker, and a bunch of other stuff, I had planned on Bella to carry our red shelf, which kind of functions like a wheelbarrow, across the street through the parking deck, before I realized, after watching it for a few seconds, that it weighed like 50 to 75 pounds. And I was unrealistic in my expectation that she was going to carry that. It was hard for me, and I had to stop a bunch of times too. So, yeah, that was pretty there. But, we got our booth set up, same spot we were last year. It was not the same design, and the booths were scrunched together, and half the booths were blocking access to the concession area, which was kind of a nightmare for them. And I was just really glad it wasn't my booth. It was just one of those sucks to suck. I'm sorry for you, but I'm also really glad it's not happening to me. We are missing kind of our backspace behind us because of a like support girder, but at least we're not getting literally ran into by a dude on a golf cart carrying out concessions gear. So that one poor booth has their banner getting knocked over all the time. And then we got our stuff set up. Were there any problems setting up? Because I know our design was different this time.
I don't think so.
No, it was a long setup. I think we took like 2 hours to set up. We had a bunch of new shirts to unfold, to size, to sort, and I've made them into a horrible chaos of mess now because I've been yanking out shirts as people have been getting them. So all your hard work's just like thrown to the wind. But I will say you made it incredibly easy to find said shirts, and it's been very helpful, and I appreciate you. Heart emoji. Your general
No, it's not a heart, that's a circle.
That was a heart. From this direction. There's a heart just for you. But like, yeah, I've had to dig out a fair amount of shirts, so it's been nice to have that organization. So thank you, because if it would have been me, I probably would have just thrown them in the shelf on a ball and dug through them chaotically every single time. So we also might want to reorganize this for tomorrow.
You're on your own.
No, I'm not. If I'm on my own, that means you're on your own. So where are you going to be? Then Amy's going to be mad at me. So we had a pretty fine setup. And before I say this, I am not speaking ill of HeroesCon, their establishment, or their leadership. I love them and they're my friends. Thank you for your opportunities. That being said, our friend Todd Turner over at Mosaic Fan Art. Todd's one of my favorite people, and he makes really cool art, and I'm greatly appreciative of him, and he housed us when we stayed in Kentucky and all the things. So I've talked up HeroesCon for a long time, being a comics purist show and all the great attributes of it. Just getting in there for Todd was a nightmare. Todd has lots of heavy stained glass things and things that are, potentially easily breakable and cost. He has, off the top of my head,
the most expensive one was $4,880.
Yeah, but altogether, of just the $1,000 pieces, I want to say he's got $20,000 worth of stuff at his booth, right? Like, there's at least 3 that are over $3,000 that I saw, and that's just the ones I'm thinking of. But he had like a couple pieces that were $600 and $700, and he's got thousands of dollars worth of breakable material. So Todd drove 6 hours to get from Kentucky to Charlotte. Then he got in the loading dock line for HeroesCon, but he was in the wrong line, by my understanding, or somebody else had led him to believe he was in the wrong line, something to that effect.
Someone was trying to skip, and he thought that's where he was supposed to go, so he started following them.
So he followed the skipper and wasn't in the right line.
And got sent back.
Yeah, and he got sent to the end of the line. But Todd spent 5 hours and 40 minutes in line. Like, he drove 6 hours and then almost spent the same amount of time just to get into the building. Now, CJ from Next Gen Nerd is helping Todd this weekend along with his son Nate. And so Bella and I, even though we were done a little bit earlier, we waited just to be able to help him get his stuff in. And then once he got in there, his booth was gone. Somebody else, his booth had been double booked. He was supposed to be in a certain place, and they had printed the sign with not only his name but also another vendor's name on the same thing. And so that vendor had completely set up and taken the spaces. And so Todd waited almost 6 hours outside. Then as soon as he got inside, his spaces were gone. And I don't laugh at it like, it's just like, man, it was near biblically comical how much of a series of unfortunate events the situation was turning out to be. And but here's the one thing I'll give credit to Todd, where I give credit to Todd on many things, but one thing I'll definitely give credit for, he maintained a solid Christ-like composure in the midst of this, and even his most frustrated visible expressions were still pretty color within the lines of Christ-like behavior. And like, I don't know, I've not had the full experience. I've not waited 5.5 hours ever to get in anywhere. I think my patience would have been out the window before I made it in. Like, I might have turned around and gone home. But he just handled himself really well. He went off and talked to, the people that ran the show. They moved him to a different spot, and we brought everything in, got it where it was supposed to be. And my man just literally held it down. And it's a very church thing, very pastor thing to say. And it's like usually the thing we say on Sunday morning when sound equipment doesn't work or whatever. It's like, man, God must really have something planned for this. And I was thinking that, and Todd was thinking that, CJ was thinking that, just generally, there's a reason, Satan is fighting so hard against Todd having a good experience here. So, praying for Todd through all this, and he's had a good show so far from everything I've seen. But like that was, there's a line at the beginning of Elizabethtown, on the difference between a failure and a fiasco. And a fiasco is such a huge situation that other people tell stories about it to make themselves feel glad that it wasn't them. And so I feel like that qualifies into the fiasco area of things. But we got set up, and once they got into their booth space, we headed out just because their booth is big, but it's not big enough for 5 people to be dancing around with breakable things. So we went over to Camp North End, which is a really nice spot for entertainment and artistry and foods and such in the Charlotte area. And if you are ever in Charlotte, I highly recommend you go check out Camp North End. It looks like an industrial area that was turned into an outdoor shopping complex and artistry center. Bella liked it last year, so we wanted to go back. And what was your main thing you wanted to go back for?
The railroad track.
There's a really pretty railroad track that has flowers and weeds and stuff growing over it, but it looks like the railroad track is overrun near like Walking Dead apocalyptic levels, and looks like it runs straight into the heart of Charlotte. So explore there. Bella got some ramen.
Miso soup.
Some miso soup. There's just something about hot ramen outside for me I just couldn't rock with. I don't know. It's the egg thing. I don't like an egg in my ramen, and I want to be in air conditioned when I eat ramen. So she got miso soup. I got a chicken Philly, and we both got ice cream at Simply Overzealous.
Seemingly overzealous.
Seemingly. My bad, dude. Get off me. Why are you in a cocoon? You can't podcast in a cocoon.
Yes, I can.
So we got ice cream, and we did all the things, and then right before we left, we got caught in watching a dance battle that was happening, because we heard like, oh, and like, not that Charlotte's a bad city, but as soon as I heard that, I was like ready to duck and run and was expecting gunshots. But it was really a lady that looks like she would work at Trader Joe's, pop and locking against a bunch of dudes. And so we stood around and watched that for a while, and we came back to our hotel and we got ready for the day. The show has been good so far. It's been a good experience. Friday was solid. I didn't take a single picture Friday, but it was consistent. People were excited for the new shirt and the new stickers. I was really excited to sell my comic book at HeroesCon and actually have people buy it. And I think the first thing that was purchased was a comic book, if I'm not mistaken. And having Lyle, the guy who drew it, just a couple rows over, is also cool to be able to say, hey, you can go over there and get it signed. Yeah, but it was anything really strong or cool you saw from Friday?
No. Nothing really. I was reading the whole time.
Yeah, Bella basically read the whole time, and I drew the whole time, except when people showed up to talk. First off, Kevin Wayne Smith brought us, I forgot what he calls it, but it's a trail mix. Christmas crack, yeah. It's pretzels with white chocolate and M&Ms, and he has consistently brought me a bag of Christmas crack for 3 years straight at least. And he's usually one of the first people in line or the first people to the booth as soon as the show opens, and he brings us snacks every year. And I gotta tell you, it's a beautiful comfort to have that kind of consistency, but also have people, and like the dude beside us, he's like, LaRon is the guy who's beside us. And he said, "Hold up, you got people bringing you snacks when the show opens?" I was like, "Yeah." And so it's a nice feeling to be loved and appreciated. And but the show just went on. I mean, it was a good show. Lots of interactions, people buying stuff and talking. And in terms, I don't know like what the count was of sales or anything like that, but I know I had to restock the bookshelf 2 or 3 times on Friday of books that were getting emptied out. And yeah, it was a good experience. Friday was solid. And then Todd is a pizza person, and so he wanted to get pizza. So Bella, or all of us, walked from the convention center down to
Genius.
Gino D's Pizza, and we got pizza there. And we talked, hung out, and ended up, I went on a monologue about Jey Uso and yeeting. And one cool thing was Friday I wore my Yeet shirt. I got a new Jey Uso Yeet shirt. And Rob Potschek from Keen Spot Comics, when I walked up to him, he saw my shirt and he did the Jey Uso Yeet thing where he put his arms in the air and waited for me to yeet at him. And I didn't remember that I was wearing that shirt. So this awkward moment where he put his hands up in the air and I thought he was like going to hug me, but he was really waiting for me just to yell yeet, and I missed it. And I was like, I can't reach you over the table like to hug you like that. And so it was this awkward, fun moment because I wasn't even paying attention to the cultural relevance of the shirt I was wearing. But then I yeeted, and then he had me do it a couple times before I left, and it was fun. I got to see some cool artists, some folks that I really enjoy. There's one guy named Yale Stewart who I've been following his Instagram for a while, and it's pretty cool. And I've been on the lookout for, personally, for Sinchi from Delicious in Dungeon and Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3 artwork of them, and I found a keychain for each of them and a print for each of them. So pretty, but I think I got those. I got those yesterday, or Friday, so it was good. But yeah, one thing too. Today, Saturdays, we started off. We're staying in a hotel. We're having some not hotel drama, but our hotel has its issues.
What song is that?
I don't know. Our hotel literally has paper walls, like toilet paper walls. Right now, there's somebody dancing on the ceiling above us, and a family that was having a loud discussion directly beside us. And I couldn't sleep the first night because of how loud the people were. I went to the front desk and had them call them, and they stopped for a while. At 2 a.m. they stopped, and then by 4:30 they were literally having a party, clapping, dancing, and singing. And I was angry, and I was kind of enraged, and I was all mad that they were keeping my kid awake. But in reality, Bella had headphones in and was listening to rain sounds, and she slept through all of it. Like, I was getting mad that she was being kept awake, but I was the only one kept awake, and she was smarter than me. So today, or last night, I have a bug bite on my thigh. Y'all don't need to know that. Sorry, I was scratching. Last night, I put white noise on, put my headphones, and I slept like a baby. Like, I slept probably better than I've slept in a long time. Like, hardcore out. And I know that somebody was making noise last night, but I didn't care because I was sleepy. And it was great. This might be a new life practice for me. We'll see.
I normally have the fan in my room that's like so loud. So.
Yeah, you do have a loud fan in your room. But like that being like pumped straight into my ear holes literally helped me sleep so good. Like, I don't know the last time I've slept that peacefully. But I think at home, I don't think can do that because I'm always in security mode at home. Like, here, I just want people to be quiet. At home, I need to be here if somebody's like breaking into the house or something. Today was Saturday, which was the busier day. There was a lot more people. They said it was a record-setting attendance. It didn't feel like it was the busy. Like,
it didn't.
It really didn't feel that way, but they said it was a record attendance day.
Well, there were a lot of people at the cosplay thing that didn't go to the rest of the con.
Yeah, they just went to the cosplay thing. Yeah, because as I was seeing people's photos of cosplayers, I didn't see any of those cosplayers.
Yeah, most of them just came over there and came back.
Yeah,
there was like a whole crowd. Like there were too many people to sit down.
well, that's nuts. And then one thing that it's just an irony cracked me up thing. They were saying on the announcements overhead, they were saying, "Hey, if you need a sign language interpreter or if you need someone for ASL, it'll be at this panel." And I'm like, they're making an audible announcement for people of the hard of hearing. Like that needs to be on a sign. That doesn't need to be like just announced. So if it's just announced, I thought that's pretty funny. That's how they're doing. Quit jiggling or whatever you're doing. Don't flex while we're recording. Snacks were. Are you dancing?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you dancing?
Because there's music.
Stop dancing while we're recording. Dance later. The music is so loud in somebody else's room that we can literally like dance to it. But there was snacks. I wrote snacks in my notes for some reason. Either way, there's a couple of cosplayers, the Norwoods, that are always super thematic and they're always cool in what they do. And they brought us a dinosaur on Friday because they were dressed like Jurassic Park.
When did that happen?
The dinosaur that's sitting on the table.
What?
Like the table at the con. Did you not see the toy dinosaur?
No.
It's sitting on top of the hardback books. No, it's like literally right there beside us.
I never saw that.
Okay, well you can have the dinosaur. It's on top of the hardbacks. Okay. The Norwoods always dress in like matching cosplays and they always bring props with them. And so Friday they brought a dinosaur. Today they were dressed as Fallout characters and they brought us some, not Nuka-Cola, but whatever the other drink is. There's the label on it, but like it's blue. They're really neat and they always bring cool props. They don't really disappoint with that, and it's always neat to see them. Michelle Stewart and her family came, and she said that she only came to the show because she saw me post the new shirt, the God is a Fan of You shirt. And I'm just like, y'all just spent like 5 adult tickets to get in here to get this shirt. And I was like, man, HeroesCon should like give me a discount. They're really cool. They're really supportive. I love their heart and just all the way their families tie in together and just make things more beautiful. And she's the kind of person that makes me grateful to be able to do this. The Kindness is Gangster sticker officially sold out. And so I think I'm going to have to like officially print that one from a real printer because it keeps selling out. Also, when we ate dinner on Friday night, Todd spoiled a major plot point of the new Batman comic book that should have been like a hardcore rickroll that left me like gasping as I turned the page. And then he like even spoiled the plot twist. I'm like, be kind with your friends. Yes, I should have read that comic book because it's over 2 weeks old, but I'm busy and it made me sad because it was a Red Hood spoiler. And like he just casually brought it up. I'm like, what are you talking about? There was an angry street preacher outside the con today, and people were telling me that, he was out there and the stuff they were doing, and some people came to talk to me about what the angry street preacher was saying, which is a kind of a normal practice. But yeah, overall it was a good day. Pretty encouraging through most things. There were some hateful people like at the booth, some snickering like Beavis and Butthead level teenagers that I just wanted to chop in the throat when they're of appropriate age, and because we don't threaten minors here. And yeah, but overall it was good. I will say a surprise that was nice is at Einstein Bagel, I sent Bella to go get us lunch up there, and I got a spicy chicken sandwich and swapped out the bread for
6 cheese.
6 cheese bagel. And that sandwich was freaking majestic. Like, I'm talking about, I would go somewhere and buy that sandwich because it was that good. You don't expect con food to be great because we got like a burger and tenders on Friday. Not great. Super mediocre.
Well, that was from commissions. This was from an actual store.
Yeah, I get it, but still, if it's in a convention center, I don't even count that as an actual store either, normally.
So the Bojangles and Starbucks don't count?
Does a Bojangles have a full menu? No, they serve. It only has chicken tenders and fries. It literally serves food at a restaurant. You can't even get a biscuit. Oh, it made me sad. But that Einstein bagel sandwich, majestic. As the show wrapped up today, as we're dancing again to the salsa music.
It's not salsa music.
It's, what is it? As she puts her ear to the wall.
It's in Spanish.
It is in Spanish.
It's just not salsa music.
All right, whatever, dude. Sit down.
She's singing too.
Yeah, they're karaokeing next door to us. That's okay. We're about to have Saw playing in a minute. Saw 4. Because Bella is working her way through the Saw movies on this trip. I will also say that we went to eat sushi with Todd, CJ, and Nate after today, and yeah, it's a good day. Overall, yawn, solid across the board. And anything you want to say about your experience so far? You've just been reading and walking, and you've read your book and finished it, and now you're bookless.
Yeah, no more book.
No more book.
Not really.
What's your favorite experience been so far?
Watching the Saw movies.
What's your favorite experience at the con been so far?
Reading my book at the con.
After your book was so far, your favorite experience?
Some pretty lady said she liked my shirt.
Okay. What was your favorite cosplay you saw, since you saw more cosplays than me?
My Little Pony cosplays.
Yeah, there were a handful of My Little Pony
There
cosplays.
was a group that dressed up as My Little Pony together. There was a Rarity, Twilight, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie.
All right. Well, we're going to pause here, and we'll wrap this up, or I will wrap this up tomorrow, depending on how things go. And
Let's keep an eye.
Now you're going to do it by yourself. I'm going to give you cue cards. Say something. Yeah, we'll wrap this up after Sunday is over, but we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to this portion of the Faith and Fandom Artist Alley podcast, Artist Alley Aftermath podcast. I was hoping I was going to throw some interviews in the break there or some commentary, but it was a long weekend and I was tired and I didn't feel like doing more things. Sunday was our last day at the show, and just drove back and unpacked and getting ready to take off again tomorrow to Ponderosa Bible Camp in Mentone, Alabama, to do a week of teaching and music and stuff there. The show was good, and we rated the terrible breakfast at the hotel one last time, made our way over to the con, got our usual parking space, and which brings the grand total of parking, just for parking for HeroesCon, to what was it? $82. Yes, $82 for parking for my time at HeroesCon. But we kind of start off slow, and I always stand by firmly that Sundays are not the best days for me and Faith and Fandom if we don't have Geek Church. Because the people that are normally the target audience, or the people that are responsive to Faith and Fandom, are not there because they're at church, or there's different audiences and different goals. But the people that are most excited normally are the people that are going to be at a church on Sunday morning. So if we're not doing geek church or something, there's a good chance that my morning is going to be slow on Sunday morning, and it was. I think there was 2 solid hours straight before anybody stopped by my booth. So I just drew. I drew the Animaniacs and Pinky and the Brain, and did some stuff with that. And eventually, and a cool thing was Chris Claremont, one of the greatest storytellers of the comic book generations, stopped by my booth for a second and kept going. And I was like, "Thank you for being here, sir." And so that was neat. Yeah, it was just a slow day. But I expect that from Sundays. Friends like Kevin Wayne Smith and Isaiah, aka Lunchbox, the cosplayer slash movie director person, all stop by my booth. But they all stop by my booth every day, which is one of the reasons why I come to this show. But I had friends that stopped by. I got to see my friend Kathy, who has been a long-time cosplayer and encouragement. And it was great to see her and her whole family today. And my friend Trevor, who has been just such a cool person just to get to know and to meet over the years. It was neat to see him as well. And oh, dude, and Adam Davis came by, and Patrick, who are not only like Adam's just been cool as a Patreon supporter and everything for a while, and we had some good conversations last year, and he's had a rough year, and just praying for him. And Patrick is just a ride or die homie who's been a while, and he brought his daughter, it's a young little cutie pie, to the con, and they read Can I Still Wear My Cape pretty often as a family. And so I gave her one of the original pages of the book, and Patrick was mad at me, and it sounded pretty aggressive, because I was like, he's like, "Dude, you can't give her that. You sell it, make money, support your ministry." I'm like, "I'm gonna give it to her. Fight me." He's like, "I will fight you. I've been working out." I'm like, I know, I'm scared, but I'll do it anyway." And so we went back and forth on just trying to give her a page to the book. Bella walked around and went to different costume contests. I managed to find more Delicious in Dungeon stickers. So I think my total came out for the weekend: 1, 2, 3, 4 Delicious in Dungeon stickers, and 1 Delicious in Dungeon print, and 1 Delicious in Dungeon keychain, and a Karlach print and a Karlach keychain from Baldur's Gate. And that was my haul. I normally don't buy a lot, but man, I've just been so enjoying Delicious in Dungeon that I wanted merch, and I found it. But another kid stopped by my table and started talking about Delicious in Dungeon and told me where to go, so I went and bought it. But it was a generally slow day. Outside of seeing some friends, I don't think there was a crazy amount of responses or conversations. I thought back a lot more on some of the conversations from yesterday, because there were definitely some people who were not aggressive, but they were very agitative in terms of and it's like, it was just some weird interactions. But I got to talk to different people about that, and my neighbor to the right was having some really antagonistic God's not real conversations, and he was saying it. I genuinely think he was trying to be quiet enough for me not to hear him. But then later he bought 2 stickers and said, "I just want to support the cause." And I don't know if it was because he felt bad or what, but it is what it is. And there were definitely people I missed seeing at this show, but it was good. So as the time went on, we packed up and uh, kind of got our stuff together. Todd ended up with Mosaic Fan Art, ended up packing his stuff up and going the way that I go out, and he managed to get all of his crazy amount of valuables stuff out in under an hour, which is really impressive. Um, but yeah, I didn't make any big notes or anything for today because I spent a lot of the day just, um, you know, talking to random friends, talking to Adam, talking to Patrick, talking to Isaiah, talking to some just friends and Kevin. And if I wasn't doing that, I was drawing or reading comics. And which I also appreciate because this was the chillest Sunday I've had this year. Period. Um, and on the way home, uh, we go a little bit out of our way, like 10 minutes extra out of our way on the way home to go to Jack in the Box. And Jack in the Box had Cube's Munchie Meal, which is Ice Cube's sponsored meal, which is, ready for this? This is a chicken patty, bacon, a hash brown on a croissant with a cheesy zesty sauce, churros, a taco, and curly fries. That's his Cube Munchie Meal. But what was great is when I bought that meal because it looked bananas. Um, it came with a Ice Cube sticker as like a Happy Meal toy, and I'm so pumped about my Ice Cube sticker. It makes my day. Um, but we outside of that stop, we drove the whole way home with the windows down, music blaring. Never even talked. Bella just likes loud music and the windows down, and so we did that. I'm also kind of grateful to get a night off from watching scary movies with my daughter because she's been on that kick. Um, but yeah, HeroesCon came and went. It was a great show. It was good opportunities, and I'm genuinely grateful to be able to do it. This marks 10 years since my first booth at HeroesCon. And I made a post about this, but it really is, a lot has changed. But in a lot of ways, a lot of things are still the same. And it's still worth it. It's still valuable to me. The experience, the place. I haven't actually looked at our finances of things. Um, I don't feel like it was a bad run. Like, I don't feel like we're destitute. I'm fairly certain we at least broke even, just in terms of hotel and the table fee. And I already signed up to. I at least turned in an application to be there again next year. So here's hoping. Um, but yeah, it was a good show. I'm grateful to be back and to be on to the next thing. My next con that I'm aware of is going to be GalaxyCon Raleigh in about a month. I will be doing a Faith and Fandom presentation in Alabama this week, and I'm going to see Five Iron Frenzy in Atlanta on June 29th, and I low-key want to ask them, specifically Leonore, Jeff the Girl, if I can set up my booth at the Five Iron Frenzy concert. I haven't asked yet. I'm thinking about it. We'll see how it goes. I might just want to go and rock out and break my knees and hips. Or not. Also, on my way back, I got a message from Gear Saber Cosplay that Spotify wasn't working. And so the first thing I did after I unpacked was work on Spotify. And I think I've got it fixed now. We'll see. But yeah. Thank you guys for taking time to listen, and I want to do a big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters who helped make this possible. And that goes for the ones who support through Patreon and the ones who support in various other ways. Like, I don't know if people want names named, but like people that tip me way too much for book purchases and stuff, and that type of thing. But yeah, I appreciate all of you for doing that. But for our Patreon supporters, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Candace Davis, who I saw her husband this weekend, Jay Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, who is getting married this Saturday coming up, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, who had a good weekend, sold lots of things and made an overall impact on the artistic community, and he did a piece for the HeroesCon art auction that went for $500 too. Zach Harris, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Jason Bullock, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, who is apparently going to fight me, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for being amazing supporters and being encouraging. And I hope that your week kicks off great. And I hope I get to see you at a con real soon.